Earlier, we learned how the Texas 7 broke out of the Connolly Unit, a maximum security prison in Texas, in December 2000. Their escape seemed impossible, and yet they pulled it off, leaving no trace behind. They weren't just fleeing, they were executing a larger plan. Armed, dangerous, and with a blood-soaked robbery spree already in motion, they left law enforcement scrambling. Then, just as authorities were closing in, they disappeared again, leaving the world wondering, where were they and who was helping them? The authorities were in a panic. Days turned into weeks, and the manhunt for the Texas 7 reached new levels of desperation. Every lead seemed to fizzle out. Every tip that came in turned out to be a dead end. And then, in the middle of it all, something strange happened. A breakthrough. The anonymous tip that had led authorities to the cabin in the woods was not the only one. It soon became clear that someone out there, someone close to the men, was leaking information. But who? The FBI was sure of one thing now. The Texas 7 had help, and it wasn't just the guard who had mysteriously disappeared. There were more moles, more allies hiding in plain sight, but none of them were talking. Not a single soul came forward. As the investigation deepened, something unexpected came to light. One of the Texas 7, George Rivas, wasn't just a career criminal. He had ties to a powerful criminal organization in Texas. It wasn't enough to just rob a bank and get away. No, Rivas had dreams of something much bigger. Authorities soon uncovered that Rivas was planning not just a getaway, but a full-scale crime syndicate. For months, the Texas 7 had been in contact with an underground network, orchestrating one of the most audacious heists in recent history. Their goal wasn't to simply escape, they wanted to disappear for good. They had money, they had power, they had protection. But the connection to the underground network was just the beginning of the mystery. By early 2001, after several violent encounters with the police, the Texas 7 managed to slip through law enforcement's fingers. And then, in one final, unexpected move, they split up. Instead of sticking together, which seemed the most logical move, they scattered. Some headed south, others east. George Rivas, the mastermind, disappeared into the swamps of Texas, using his connections to get help from cartel members who hid him for months. But the most shocking part, authorities learned that Rivas wasn't the only one involved in this deeper plot. The missing guard, as it turned out, wasn't just helping them escape the prison. He was guiding them through the entire process of their disappearance. He knew how to make them vanish, and when it all unraveled, they wouldn't be caught. In late 2001, after nearly a year on the run, Rivas was spotted in Mexico living a high life. But authorities were closing in on him fast. Then, in a sudden, unexpected twist, a tip from one of Rivas's old associates, one of the men involved in the underground network, led the FBI straight to him. The tension skyrocketed as agents moved in for the arrest. But when they raided his hideout, they didn't find Rivas. What they found instead was a message. It was written on the wall in red spray paint. "They'll never catch us all." The authorities scrambled. Was this a warning, a sign? Or had the Texas 7 been planning this all along? Had Rivas always known they would never be caught? The manhunt continued for months. Despite all evidence pointing to a final showdown, the Texas 7 continued to evade capture. And with each passing day, the mystery deepened. Then, in 2003, nearly 3 years after their original escape, a massive break came. One of the men, who had been thought to be dead, was found alive. He was living in plain sight, working under a false identity. But what really shook investigators to their core, the man claimed that George Rivas wasn't the mastermind after all. The real person behind the Texas 7's elaborate escape wasn't Rivas or anyone from the original crew. It was someone no one suspected, someone from the inside. Who was the true mastermind behind the Texas 7's unbelievable escape? And why had they all worked together for so long, only to have the whole plan fall apart? Were they still out there? The answers remain just out of reach, and the truth is even darker than anyone ever imagined. Stay tuned for more.